of happiness can be influenced by Kant or Nietzsche. Good take. Good take. I think it's worse than that. It can be influenced by the fallacy that 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 you can define the happiness from the content, as I was saying earlier, rather than the metaphysical framework. In that sense, in that sense, it can be I've got a quite simple argument from the gore. No, Patrick, you were waiting. You were waiting. I love how respectful you were. You were waiting for Saint and me to end the discussion to proceed to the argument of the fucking gorilla. I love it. I love it. Good. Good. You are quite polite. Good. You've got a simple argument from the gorilla itself. From the gorilla himself. From the person who was the second most intelligent, people remember. Who is, ironically, the second smartest student. Good that you remember it. He says, why should I start reading instead of scrolling Instagram? You love reading. I love football. Patrick, don't lie to me. You, 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 you extracted that information from the gorilla. This is the society I live in. You extracted that information from the gorilla's mind after our chat yesterday. Okay, so let's get into it. So, gorilla. This is exactly what he said. Okay. Why should I start reading instead of scrolling Instagram? You love reading, he told to you, Patrick. And I love football and scrolling the Instagram. Well, because neural activity happens in the brain, not the legs, would be the answer for the gorilla. My first answer for the gorilla. Second one would be that indeed playing football that he says is about neural impulses that go from the brain to the legs, so that indicates an importance in metaphysical existence of the brain with a predominance over the legs. Okay? Because the neural system from the brain sends the electric signal to the legs. Not the other way around, except it's Goku in Dragon Ball Z, in Dragon Ball Super, going in Ultra Instinct, that he doesn't need to send electric signals from the brain. You can tell him that, so maybe he can reason about it a bit. And second, that out of two mental perceptions, they cannot have equal metaphysical value. Even by 0.0001%, one will be more accurate at describing objective reality, which exists. So, but this is, I bet it's way too much for the fucking gorilla. It's the matter of feeling like reading to him, I think. It's the matter of feeling like reading to him. Basically, hedonism. Okay, that it bores him and he wants hedonism. He wants constant pleasure, okay. Well, you have to tell him that the most basic non-complex argument that is more compatible with any potential capability of convincing the gorilla would be that what I told you the other day, that good things in life require time, effort, and pain. So because of that, he should be able to deduce that sometimes he needs to do things from the perspective of a moral obligation of doing so to be a better person, rather than if it produces him pleasure or not. I would say that's the most basic level explanation that could potentially convince the gorilla so he can read. So he can read in that sense. That maybe it feels boring, but it's producing him a benefit that maybe he doesn't see. That he should try that. That even if he doesn't see the benefit, maybe he could try believing that it does exist. Right? Like that. I mean, that was a one-hit kill.
I can't do that.
So yeah, I would try that one. I would try that one definitely. Oh, we got area of effect damage here. A lot of it. So I would try that. Can you explain why reading is more useful than wrestling in ape words? In ape words. No, I get what you say in a very direct way. Like explaining as if everyone was 5 years old, which is sometimes needed. I sometimes do that for myself. I'll be the first person to say that I sometimes do that for myself. Why is it important? Why is reading more useful than read? Okay, I think I know how to do it. I will associate it with matter as much as possible. The brain, in the most simple layman terms possible, the brain physically works like a network, like a spider's network, correct? The web of the spider. So you need to start connecting something called neurons through a process called synapses. That's how the brain makes its cortex more elastic. See that I'm being as physical as possible. So when you read, you help connect cables like that. Imagine that you are connecting cables in a or the spider is doing the network, the web, the web. So imagine that you are connecting cables. I will clip this to my future kids. No worries, feel free to do so. You are connecting the cables of a network, like like that. So if you don't connect the cables of a network, there isn't an integrated system. Instead, everything is separated, and neurons die. And once a neuron dies, it is quite difficult to recover it after you are 25, 26 years, etc. So you need to connect the cables of the brain. That's why reading is more important than just playing football, because it's causing neurological activity in that sense. While moving your legs, while it increases the coordination of your body and keeps you fit and etc. and provides health in that sense, a good quality of life in that sense, it does not make neural connections, it does not make the cables connect. The cables need to connect. And what can he do with these exciting new neuron connections? Well, with these exciting new neural connections, he might be able to perceive life more efficiently as the cables are producing energy. Like that. He may be able to solve math problems faster, and if that is way too boring, he might be able to make deductions about life with more efficiency in that sense. With these new powers, he could also prevent dementia. By the way, he has the sweetest, most caring everything. Life is unfair in that sense. Oh, it is. It is not. I would question how durable that would be. It's just that you don't see it because you're still trapped there in high school. But trust me that generally those things eventually show if the other person establishes the cable connections and he doesn't. Eventually it will create a gap. Still to get he cheated on her like 2 times, still together though. Well, but when the gap of intellect closes, well, it could happen when you have to actually confront real challenges in life, like that. It changes. the person, I assure you that any woman past any loving and caring woman with all of that is also intelligent and etc. It will will value different things after she's 30 years. Give her up to 30. Give her up to 30, Patrick. After 30, either it becomes hell because of the gap of intellect, or or well, he corrects himself and there's a miracle and the neural connections do happen. The girl must have a lot of self-respect. Yeah, with irony, I bet. Yeah, there's a huge lack of self-respect with that, in that sense. It is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. Yeah, in that sense. Either she acquires it, or, well, she doesn't, and sadly suffers a lot, and out of suffering, then suffering teaches her self-respect instead of natural intellectual deduction. And there she says, go to hell, I've already endured enough, etc. I cannot establish any meaningful relationship like fucking this, and she gets tired, basically. It's like that. It's basically like that. Hey, these guys are brutal, so... So Patrick, don't worry. You deserve a better soul. A much better soul. You wouldn't like someone who copes with that shit. So don't feel bad. Don't say that that life is unfair. Don't say that. Because there is a soul that deserves you much more than that one. Even if you say that she's kind and etc., there's a soul that deserves you much more. Like with a soul, in that sense. It's what I tell you every night. Okay, ready. It was the boss, the one that was causing troubles here. These ones are. They are like bullet sponges, but they don't have those area of effect damage, that environmental damage. But sometimes he's the smartest guy in the room. Well, then if you are so convinced of it, and I trust your judgment,
I can't do that.
then he has hope yet. He has hope yet, I guess. He has hope yet. If he can establish the neural connections. In that sense. But trust me, what you define as intelligence, eh, I assure you, you say he's the smartest guy in the room. How? Hedonism swallowed him. Yeah, but that's the problem. Being hedonist is a contradiction in itself with being the smartest guy. He even said things like you. Okay, what would it be? Tell me.
More rage.
Tell me, because if hedonism is the only thing he cares about, then it's not like me. There's a component of not being able to see beyond that element. So I get you that maybe he sometimes, you say, is the smartest guy in the room, but there's something that he's not perceiving clearly. He changed through the years, for worse, for better, or worse. For worse. Okay, so like he said things intelligently and etc. For worse, obviously. Okay. Well, then I assure you there's a difference with me. The virtue of temperance, indeed, the virtue of temperance is not just enough to be intelligent, to have the neural activity and the connections that I'm saying, but to also be aware of why it is like that, to preserve it. He didn't preserve it because he was not aware of the why. So there has to be at least one component that was different in his case compared to yours or mine. There's at least one component that ended up being different in that sense. There's at least one component that ended up being terribly different there. He didn't have the temperance as to ask himself why constantly. He had to take advantage of his intellect or not. In this case, not. That is the thing. The virtue of temperance, Patrick, is not enough to be born with good natural genetics, like for the brain to develop faster and etc., but also to preserve it in that sense. When you're not aware as to why you should preserve it or not, well, there's the component that causes then him to change for the worse. See? You say he said things like me, but something was not perceived correctly, because otherwise he would still be like me. When I talked to him earlier this year, I was actually scared. I thought he was a smart, logical guy. He said, yeah, I cheated on my chief. I flirted with girls behind her back, but I won't bring up. What could she do without me? Well, I think that's going to change eventually. Once he has to, they have to deal with things from the adult world, Patrick. When they have to deal with things from the adult world, well, he will need a degree of loyalty that definitely he won't be able to provide if he keeps doing that shit. And there, it will be, she will seek it elsewhere. What could she do without me? Well, maybe for now, she's unable to due to a problem of maturity. But as that changes, well, she will seek stability rather than whatever guerrilla tactic eh, he might be keeping her around for with. Hmm. Hmm. What ages are we talking about, Patrick? What ages? Like, when was he smart, and when would you say that he turned into this? What ages are we talking about? When was he smart? And when did he start being like this? He was smart at 14, and what? Now at 17, he turned into this. 3 years.
I'm much obliged, Hunter. My wise decision to help you out last time really paid off. Although you seem to be having
In
some
that sense.
difficulties.
What ages are we talking about?
You are remarkably judgmental for a rescued prisoner, aren't you?
We need your help. Can you switch off Harker's force fields?
And
I
now?
told you earlier that we had no tools to destroy those walls, and science hasn't really progressed much since then. I'm glad to aid your resistance with my genius, but I can't help you with that.
I knew that it was a hunter's job.
1 year
See
of
you
difference.
then. I'll find another way.
1 year. Okay. So, when I talked to him earlier this year, I was actually scared. I thought he was a smart, logical guy. He said, yeah, I cheat on my GF, I flirt with girls behind her back, but I won't bring up. What could she do without me? Like a psychological dependency. Hearing this from a guy who was always logical, politically informed, sharp in history, very large vocabulary at his age, aged like milk. So he was 16, 17. He was special in school. You remember the teacher admired him sometimes. He's 18. So 1 year passed. One summer break off with, I think. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a way too short period of time for someone. No, I will comment you this. It's a way too short period of time for someone to change so drastically. The candy that you are mentioning, of course, it affects the front left lobe of the brain. But I can assure you that originally the person wasn't that brilliant. Sadly, I have to tell you that. You say, was logical, politically informed, sharp in history, very large vocabulary at his age. Okay. I was all of those things, Patrick, as well. But what about his parents? What about his parents, Patrick? Because you can have all of that intellect and knowledge, but if you do not have the love of your parents as you are born, you could potentially think that having all of those things are enough to be successful in life afterwards. And that is precisely not the case. Oh yeah, that's a possibility. I tend to admire people much. I can tell you that if the gap of time is 1 year, he wasn't that brilliant to begin with. As I tell you, in high school I had perfect memory, 10 out of 10 all year in a lot of subjects and etc. and all of the things that you say. but that is not enough to confront the challenges of adult life. Okay? I also had to learn this. But I had the things like that discerned because of the love of parents. That's why I always put the emphasis on education at home. Non-existent. I think his mother doesn't do shit for the family. He needs to take care of all of his little brothers, and he hates her mother for that. His dad is an alcoholist. His stepdad is, well, that Patrick. He's what he's doing to his girlfriend, to the girl, by cheating and establishing that psychological dependency, is a reflection of what he was given as a child. He's reflecting outside and doing to another person what was done to him as he was a child. Hating the mother and etc. Like not valuing the person integrally, and hence why cheating and etc. His stepdad is cool. Okay, so yes, that's why it can happen, the situation that you put a lot of effort in school and you are intelligent and etc. But then you reflect in your behavior with society.
Thank you, good sir. I thought I was going to die.
What you received as a kid. He's psychologically reflecting, doing to her what his mother and father did to him when he was a child. It's a psychological projection. He's reflecting what that mother and father left inside of him. He's reflecting it to her.
Don't listen to her.
Okay? We all do that unconsciously. We reflect the original love of our parents. That's why I despise Obama's administration so much, because it told people, this is a harsh truth. I make sure to never tell him this. He's a if you're telling KW, yes, that's why the Obama administration was telling children to hate their parents. They are reflecting the original shit that the parents put inside of them as children. KW, never tell him this. It is like this. If you're telling me, let's analyze the situation again. To recap, his mother didn't do shit for him or the family. He had to take care of his little brother at an inappropriate age. He hates his mother for that, and his real dad was drunk all the time. He was an alcoholist. So, with that context, you can be good, and it is a miracle, in fact, in that he has a bit of merit, what you perceived as to admire. He has a bit of merit to be a good student at school. Okay, he put in a lot of effort regarding that, but throughout his journey in life, he will have to unravel this that I told you, to eliminate that internal distraction of himself that his parents did to him because of those things. Reversely, in your case, Patrick, your parents gave you a lot of love, not alcoholism. In the case of my parents as well, no alcohol. We didn't have to take care of our family of brothers because we are only children. because a proper family structure. Because of all of that, we reflect to society what you see here every time we talk on stream, and I see your thoughts and you see mine. So, see that your initial perception that he was incredibly smart and etc. It can be the case that he put in a lot of effort, but he's still lacking that component that caused him to cheat her GF in that sense. So because of that, there is a component that he's lacking that I presume, as I told you, once he has to confront the challenges of adult life, hopefully,
A hidden prison inside a hidden prison.
that effort that he put
We have
in
to
to be intelligent, in that sense, will be enough as for him to adapt to that. Very bad student also. He's smart in other ways, like politics vocabulary. He has social media surface knowledge. So if I painted an exaggerated picture of him, I'm too naive. Logical thinking also. Okay, but yeah, this is a harsh truth. I make sure to never tell him this now. Well, it is like this. Psychologically, our consciousness is way too difficult for someone to reverse engineer this and be aware of it. We reflect the treatment that we had as children when we had to then behave in society. We then reflected what our parents left inside of us. We reflected in that sense. Okay, so yeah, there's that. Still debating after 2 hours, says District. But District, it's not my fault if you went to do another thing and then came back to the stream. We debated about astrology with Saint that then followed the stream. You would have loved it. So it's not my fault if you left the stream and then returned. It's because of that. We debated about astrology, so you would have loved it. So you will have to see we talked about the creation of the universe and everything with Saint, the part of astrology that you love so much. So, there, you missed it. And now with Patrick, yes, we are debating about about the story of the gorilla that we started covering yesterday. Today is the week of the gorilla. It's the week of the gorillas. We need to. What was it? It's the week of September of December. What? December the 1st. Yeah, the first week of December is the week of the gorillas of the gorillas. So we were debating the other day of this classmate that he has over at school that basically lots of people told him to learn not kung fu, like martial arts, to protect their girlfriends. They recommended him to learn a sport, martial arts or boxing, to protect to protect his girlfriend or something like that in a hypothetical situation. And I of course laughed because it is a quite childish idea that in the mind of a teenager one can think that, oh no, I'm going to learn boxing, so when a gorilla threatens my property, another guy trying to punch me, that will make my girlfriend, my hypothetical girlfriend, fall in love with the other gorilla because the other gorilla was like stronger, right? In that sense. So we debated that and we started laughing. I told him it's a very childish way of thinking because the woman would instantly think, alright, if he was a fucking gorilla and attacked everyone around me for the sake of protection, how is he going to behave to me in 5 years time as we try to create a common life project, I told him, and like that we are still laughing about it and talking about the story of the gorilla, because then he says that in the minds of the people that said this unironically to him, to learn boxing to protect his hypothetical future GF or spouse or whatever partner, then I told him, no, you go to fucking jail if you punch people on the street and the state exists and you end up in a jail. And he told me, and then this Spielberg-like movie plot ends up with the fucking gorilla breaking open the bars of the cell and conquering the woman, and then stealing the ice cream from another kid at school of his descendancy. Like, that the gorilla can fucking live a normal life somehow without going to fucking jail. We are debating that, basically. Would you care enough to help the person without them asking for it? In my position, for example, Andrew Tate shit, I think the gorilla boy is thinking in a very odd situation, like, what if there's no escape but to fight for your life and for your GF life? Okay, wait. Okay, so somehow the gorilla would argument that in a life-threatening situation, it could come in handy. Behaving like a fucking gorilla. Okay, he would argument that. Okay, like, very extreme situation. Like, there's a war and he has to punch all of the invading soldiers to take her to safety. Some shit like that. Okay, and that somehow he tries to make sense out of it. Okay. First, I would warranty him that in extreme situations, just learning specifically boxing or whatever, it doesn't help. If there's a bombardment or something, I mean in a dark alley or some shit, okay, then it's not that extreme. Okay, then my first suggestion would be, how about not going to the fucking dark alley if you knew it was a dangerous situation? First of all, there we can prove once again that the brain is a bit more important. Second, self-defense, you mean? Okay, for self-defense, well, there could be somehow of a usefulness of it, but still, in that sense, even if he does it for self-defense instead of for the very purpose of conquering the poor inanimate object in this case, because the girl is not thinking about anything in this case. In this story, the role of the girl is a fucking object, inanimate object, sadly, for the perception of the gorilla. In the case of self-defense, well, it does serve a purpose. I would still encourage him to think of not visiting the dark, evidently dangerous alley for any purpose. I mean, the game imploded. In that sense. A second,
I think we just made a terrible mistake.
we did? I don't know. I am just freeing everyone here. So, in the case of self-defense, yes, but not for the exact purpose of being the reason of the attraction of the girl to him. If it's for self-defense, well, yes, it does serve a purpose of usefulness. In Hungary, if you do boxing and you use it for self-defense, you get like 3 years in prison. So your property will need to wait for a lonely 3 years. Okay, we are talking about being in an alley in which you are being attacked, not for the fucking sake of just someone looked at her and I felt threatened and I go into the gorilla rampage stuff. No, No, it's not that. It's a real threat. Someone pointing a gun and somehow he does a pirouette and kicks the gun on the air and saves her. Well, that is different. That is different. And then he somehow eliminates the threat by knocking the guy unconscious. That is what I'm talking about. Not just the fact that they that a guy looked at the at the property in this case, the inanimate object, and the gorilla entered a rampage because of his fucking instinct. Not that we are talking. You told me extreme situations, dark alley. Start sounding like fucking Batman movie intro. Yeah, 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 but it would be in self-defense in a real threatening situation, which the probabilities, I don't know what the probabilities are of that in a European country with all of the security that it may have. I could think that the situation is more feasible if you go to a fucking jungle. If you go to a fucking jungle, yes, but we are not in a fucking jungle. Like, we also need to take into account the feasibility, the probability of it happening. Like, okay, they go to the alley. Like, is there the person, a person in a threatening attitude, like a Middle East guy with a knife or something, like it has happened sometimes in Europe? Well, in that case, yes, but not if the gorilla has a fucking mental problem in which he sees everyone who looks at the poor girl who is considered fucking property, and he enters a fucking rampage. In that sense, the gorilla, I think, is a real situation. What if there is no escape but to fight for your life? If it's to fight for your life, yes, of course, but the probability, I would encourage him to think about the probability of that happening, and if his fucking lifetime isn't better spent in more probable situations, like developing his brain to pay the taxes of his home. I don't know. In that sense, Andrew Tate, would you care enough as to help the person? I didn't reply the question. Them asking for it. In my position, for example, well, in that sense, care enough as to help the person without them asking for it. In your position, I would suggest it to the person that there's another probability at least once. Yes, once at least I would suggest it to the person. At least once. So at least he knows that he had a choice and made the correct one, the incorrect one. In that sense, I would suggest it to him at least once. It is true that maybe not constantly then, but at least because my heart's screaming that I need to help everyone, but all I get is ignorant comments. Okay, but do not despair because of that. I start to lose faith. Never do that. Never do that. That is wrong. That is wrong. Never do that. That is wrong. That is wrong, Patrick. That is wrong because, as I told you, the fact that you don't see it yet doesn't matter that it doesn't exist. For example, you didn't think that I existed. And with me, what kind of help? I didn't need the help to avoid all of that ignorance that you are, all of this ignorance that you are mentioning. And the people of the stream as well. They are not like what you are describing. District, even Pillow, everyone, Crowbar. They are not like that. You can verify here that there's a lot of people who aren't like that, regardless of age. Ambra was your age. He went to university and he wasn't like that. In that sense, he is quite intelligent. It's just that he doesn't visit the street because he's at university. Or Jacob here from Sechia as well. Phantom from Greece, all people who have talked to us here on the channel, here in the channel, and they are not like that. Just for every person who is like that, there's many more that aren't. How are you going to lose hope? Maybe you're gonna save that one. Maybe you can save another one. If I had thought like that, you wouldn't have known about philosophy. So imagine. Would have never known about philosophy if I had given up. Imagine if I had been like that. If I had made that choice instead, it would have brought negative consequences. So don't lose faith. It's because of your age. Trust me, once you go and the type of institution. If you go to the Roman Catholic University, you will see that it will be completely different. And there you will verify that Eraser was fucking right. In that sense. With the suggestion. But more importantly than that is the fact that you will be able to see the opposite situation. I should no. Yeah, I should stop forcing wiseness and knowledge on ignorant young people. I should teach them how to cook, meth. No, kappa. Yeah, never lose faith. Yeah, because definitely, shit. I am now picturing a fucking gorilla with a cauldron, doing like this. Can you imagine a fucking gorilla with a cauldron? Mixing the fucking candy. Can you imagine with the cauldron? The fucking gorilla in the middle of the jungle with a fucking cauldron, cooking the candy. Can you imagine the fucking gorilla? What an image! What a fucking image! I will go in full anarchist mode, spreading misinformation and rage bait people. Yeah, in that sense, that's what they do. Do not lose hope, Patrick. Do not lose hope. I assure you that once you go to university, I hope. Look, Patrick. I hope that in 2 years' time, I give you 2 years after the first year of university. In 2 years' time, I hope I'm still here streaming. I hope you go to the Roman Catholic University, you have the experience, and you somehow return to the chat. And in 2 years' time, you will remember my words, that you will regain hope. I assure you of that. If it's a Roman Catholic University, I assure you. And you will verify that maybe I wasn't a complete idiot like that at all. In fact, you will verify that maybe I was right. I say this ironically, in that sense. So, pretty much, you will find out about that. When you see that authority is able to impose itself appropriately, you will see how everything else falls in line with the authorities of the university. That they won't do stupid shit, you will perceive them as on your level, and you will find the people to share all of that with. Maybe not to the extreme point you do with me that we are fucking talking about the creation of the universe here and those things. Maybe not to that extreme point, but the gap will close enough as for you to regain faith in humanity with those. So yeah, pretty much. And no, anarchy does not solve anything, it just destroys. It only has the capability of destroying in that sense. It only has the capability of destroying. That's the problem with anarchy. That it just destroys everything, but doesn't build any shit on top of it. Doesn't build any shit, it only wants to destroy, so there's nothing left. like nearly some absence of purpose, absence of everything, nothingness. Well, when you do that, it's a huge problem because something needs to fucking exist. I'll go to sleep now. Have a nice night and thank you for these wonderful streams. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Patrick. I always enjoy these streams. And remember, it's that. Harsh truth, KW. He's reflecting all of the damage that the parents that you described put inside of him. He is now reflecting it upon society directly, his GF with the cheating and everything. Have a great night, Patrick. Thank you always for your great company. I appreciate you a lot, and you will recover faith. Have a great night. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. You are quite intelligent for your age, regardless of me, of my existence. So never doubt it. That it will help you overcome all of those things. 100%. So have a great night and see you tomorrow when we'll continue with Star Wars Republic. In that case, I'll keep going, people. 2 hours we can. Today I have to finish the stream a bit earlier. I will finish half an hour earlier, sadly, because I have to go do something. So we'll do a bit less. We'll do up until 8:30 p.m. Okay? Because yesterday, well, I went to sleep very late, and I have to do some things today as well. So we'll stop a bit late, but not. We'll finish a bit earlier. Sorry, we'll finish a bit earlier, but never without finishing all of these levels. In that sense. So far the game is amazing, people. The game is absolutely amazing. It has all of the great components of a perfect isometric action RPG in that sense. Everything. I love how some of the enemies, that the enemy variety is incredible as to is good enough as to include different roles for the mobs. Like this one feels more like a tank, and it's mixed up with some that deal high damage, like the turrets, and etc. People. Like for example, some of the enemies are ranged musketeers as well, high damage. So yeah, pretty much. I love the enemy variety that the game is providing so far in that sense. Quite good. As for the rest, so we can stop the debate a bit because we have to analyze the game, people, as I have been doing. So far, the abstract complexity of the skill tree. I think I have points to distribute. 79 points to distribute. Yeah, my skill tree is outdated. Seer is just like Path of Exile, huh? It's just like fucking Path of Exile, if you ask me. Just like fucking Path of Exile. Pretty well done. The abstract complexity that it has is amazing, combined with the active system in which you add the multipliers here to the abilities, and having a two-pronged resource management there also adds a lot of strategy to it, because like you have to worry about mana regeneration a lot. Like, it is a real problem in this game, mana regeneration. That's something that you cannot say in a lot of games. Like, mana regeneration is way too lenient, way too lax on the player. The player just gets tons of mana and that's pretty much it. I love that this game forces you to do an strategic usage of mana regeneration. So in that sense, pretty well done.
Somehow I doubt that. I'm a simple librarian with an addiction.
Oh, don't you know that book, people? The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is a reference to a novel, quite good novel. It's like Sherlock Holmes. It was one of the first novels I read. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. Highly recommend it if you like Sherlock Holmes. I of course love it. Yeah.
Everyone deserves a second chance.
He said Jekyll on purpose.
Here we go.
I love that the so pretty much I love that the developers of this game have a big that was close. Had a big were big fans of literature in that sense, because Van Helsing is the son of the legendary vampire hunter with the novel of Bram Stoker there. So pretty much I love all of the literary references that the game has. It makes for a refined experience, people. We need this more in the modern gaming industry. We don't have enough references to books. Most of the references are to movies instead. So yeah, pretty well done. I love the art style that it has. I love the art style that it has in that sense. And as you can see, what I was mentioning earlier, that the roles of the mobs are extremely varied. For example, this one is like a full tank, while some other enemies, well, I don't know how I was fucking supposed to survive that. I honestly don't know it, because it was a one-hit kill. Pretty much. Yeah, definitely a huge legendary boss. So let's see. Remember, my damage is increased as I keep my range, so that should make things faster. There we go. So we'll keep our range, and that will also ensure that we don't die.
I can't do that.
In that sense. So there you have it, people. I love how much of a bullet sponge some of the enemies are as well. Quite good. I hate encounters that are extremely short. And as you can see here, it's something reasonable without... It's something reasonable, even on this hard difficulty. Well, that is not reasonable, but still... without affecting the pathfinding. Like, for example, I felt in drakensangonline that a lot of the deaths were related to the pathfinding. For example, the clipping that it had on some of the terrain, or things like that. Not being able to properly move where I wanted to. Here, all the clicks feel brutally precise. And when I say that, I mean it, people. Like, they are exactly what you would expect. That is a one-hit kill, huh? It's a one-hit kill. There's nothing I can do. I think it has to do with the difficulty I'm playing it on. I'm playing it on Fearless, people. So I think it's basically a one-hit kill unless I increase my health bar at this point, or my defense, or increase my damage reduction somehow. So yeah, pretty much that. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you can somehow avoid it, but you need to be pretty fast. Pretty fast there. That sense. Maybe if we break line of sight here. Damn it! This is amazing. This mini boss is amazing.
I can't do that.
There, no. It's impossible to avoid that, pretty much. It was an instant attack.
I can't do that.
Beast, lightning resistance, quake strike, frenzy charge, mass bloodlust stunning, Strike regeneration. We are beating some kind of regeneration here with our damage. We should have quite high damage. Let's see if I can kill it. Remember, max range. What? Fuck, that is impossible to avoid. I think is the as I said, the fearless difficulty broken, completely broken. In that sense, it's an avoidable one-hit kill. Don't worry. Anyways, we have money. I presume. I presume there's something left after all of the deaths that we've had. Maybe if I just keep my range, he just doesn't pull me. Okay, like that, like walking through it, something like that. Let's see, let's see, let's see. We're almost there. Should be enough. Okay, good. Dr. Jekyll's tincture. Quintessence. Epic consumable. Mystic effect. Right click to consume. Let's see. 10 HP, permanent 10 HP for your character. Okay, that is interesting. It's the first time I see something do this. Mystic effect. Suddenly feel sorry for the bait worm. What? Let me see. Minus 10 HP. Poisoned. Fuck. Darn it. Okay. So you kind of like recover the 10 HP that you lose if you consume the fish there. Anyways, 10 HP is not going to save you from anything. It's something negligible to do, some kind of... Yeah, some kind of stupid. Not stupid, it's quite cute. A cute little cameo there to the book. Pretty much, people. So, we cleared the whole map and completed the objective. Send the captain on the mission to recover Thor's hammer. Oh, we are getting to Norse mythology now? Or not, I guess. Pretty much. But so far my thoughts on the game, people, is that absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Definitely not an average isometric action RPG. Let me check the time. It's 5 past 8 almost. So for me PM. So today I will finish a bit earlier. Sadly, I have to go do some things. So we'll do only half an hour more. I'll finish at 8:30. Okay? So we'll do that. Send the captain on the mission to recover Thor's hammer. So, new mechanic here that we have to analyze, people. So this is taken from King Arthur Knight's Tale. King Arthur Knight's Tale. Like you send soldiers. You send soldiers in an RTS-like mechanic to basically I mean, I'm running out of money because I died way too many times. To basically do all these quests. So it gives you
A genius and a diplomat. That's me, yes.
ongoing Thor's hammer. Okay. So I have to wait to the Siri facility. ETA 20 minutes. Talk to prisoner 7 in there. Ah, there we go. There we go. It's done.
Hunter, the secret library
Amazing voice acting, and I love the camera panning movements. They add a lot of dynamism to the dialogue lines that we generally skip in isometric action RPG games. Pretty much, people.
You need a force that could destroy the electrical barriers, and I found you the rawest power of Borgovia. High upon the Thunderhead Mountains you will find Perun, the god of storms. He was imprisoned for good, but should you break his chains, his thunderbolts could destroy the domes. The
Okay.
sheer force of nature against science. I like it. Wait for me, and then we can go.
Okay,
Down with science.
let me see if I can finish the other quest talk. Defend the resistant outpost against the subterranean incursion. That has to be the... Could be the tower defense game or what? No. Damn, no. So basically I love the camera panning movements that the game has to add a lot of dynamism to the dialogue lines. To the dialogues, so they don't feel so static and monotonous. In that sense, it was a good idea. The artistic direction is amazing. It has an incredible enemy variety, with the enemies doing different types of attacks and assuming different types of roles, like the tank that you just saw.
Everything is in order.
This reminds me of my army days.
No. So yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, it is a perfect
I
example.
bet this maze is full of secret treasures.
Hang on.
Not
Pretty much that. No. I don't see any quest to finish. That new assignment told defend the subterranean incursion. Defend the resistance outpost against the subterranean incursion. I don't see where I would do it, so we'll leave it for next time. Let's continue with the main quest.
Is ready to take you to the mountains. We have no time to lose.
Let's go, people. Let's go. Then, otherwise, I leave mine. Remember that in this game you can respawn all the enemies when you restart it.
Mad science. Well, that's Borgovia for you in a nutshell. While the resistance is safely holed up in the lair, I'm leaving the city to find this Perun. Prisoner 7 is taking us to an abandoned part of the mountains, far beyond the reaches I've already explored. Our destination seems to be shrouded in mystery. The place has a nasty reputation. That's all I know. Even the professor avoided those peaks for some reason and removed it from the official maps. Prisoner 7 is oddly silent about this forbidden plateau, which makes me even more curious. It's time to do some exploration.
Okay, we are going to the next map, people. It would be deeply sad, you know what? It would be deeply sad if this game doesn't have a lot of replayability. Why? Because it has an amazing art style and the precision of the point-and-click system.
You were supposed to take us to the plateau.
The style reminds me, you know, of what? As well?
Katerina, could you just stop complaining about walking?
This mountain once used to be the realm of Koshai, the Deathless, the most powerful
Of a Game Boy Advance
who
game.
lived in Borgovia. The place is still bursting with his dark magic.
Called
So it has
Boktai.
become
The sun is
home
in your
to
hand.
mighty entities like Perun and his kin. And it's impossible to reach the peak by arcane means. Both of you must walk.
Both of us? Aren't you coming with us?
Your humble ally is too weak. The years he spent in Fulmigati's test chambers left him broken. And imagine how much help this man can be in Borgovia, searching for the general's secrets. Good luck.
Amazing art style. I love this fog.
You're still ignoring my advice about your mirror-faced friend.
Why shouldn't I believe him? You've been helping us all the time.
Why are you so trusting? Because it's all so mysterious and there's a mask. Is there a club for the likes of you? Do you have a secret handshake?
Enough, Katerina. Leave the man be.
The dialogue lines and the relationship between Van Helsing and Katarina is also pretty well done. All of the dialogue lines feel natural and cohesive with their personalities perfectly. I love the fact that you can manipulate how big the damage numbers are, but above all, I like the complexity of the stat system that this game has. Like, you have intrinsic elements. Shit. You have intrinsic elements. Like increasing your base stats in that sense, but also extrinsic ones with the essence system for the items, and it's all multiplied by 2, as you also have to take care of Katarina's skill tree here as well. The fact that mana regeneration is also a thing, like for example here, people, its ability to represent your skill to avoid harming generally increases health and dodge statistic. This one, ranged weapons, it increases the weapon damage of skills and your maximum range. But here, as you can see, I distributed most here because of the mana regeneration. Mana regeneration is a thing to deal with in this game. You can see how fast it is consumed. And you depend on your companion. You depend on the companion system of the game, as her attacks refill my mana. In that sense, so if your companion dies, like you can see there that she's taking damage, you cannot regain mana. So the companion system is intrinsically tied, internally tied, to the mana regeneration system of the game. I think that is a quite brilliant framework for the stat system, depending on the companion for mana regeneration, which in turn governs the amount of damage that you deal. It creates a virtuous circle that adds a lot of strategic depth to it. That is quite subtle, but reviewers should pay attention to it a bit more. Like that, see how her attacks make me regain mana, and that in turn ensures that I keep dealing more damage, and I also add the multiplier there. But you can see there that the packs are sometimes big, and you have to retreat constantly. So even all of this system is not enough as for you, or at least on fearless difficulty, to just sit on your raw damage. Yeah, damn, I ran out of room there. Let's just use a checkpoint here. So yeah, you can see there, I think I have to stop and increase some of these stats. So as you can see here, look at this one. A portion of Katharina's ethereality is added to your maximum mana, equal to 125% total. Like, things like this add a lot of abstract complexity to it. So which one was I? And we're talking about 3 skill trees for her. Here, more traditional, more linear, and for the character itself, for the protagonist, you have a more complex skill tree, like in Path of Exile, pretty much. But let's get to this one. So this one, a boost to her hit points. So with this one, you just increase her hit points. But no, I wanted one that increases all of my resistances here. 3.5 extra resistances. No, this one defense. This one physical resistance. Pretty much. Okay, I only had those points. Here, let me remove this one. This one. The defense is basically the armor. In that sense. For me. She increases my armor like that. Increasing her hit points and the damage of melee attacks. Okay, so we'll go with this one that we haven't taken care a lot of that one, of that part of the skill tree. And in my case, I think, I don't know, I need to increase. No, here the damage is high enough as it is there. I don't know. Maybe I can add something different. Turns you into ethereal for a short time, making you invincible and increasing your movement speed by 50. But also causing you to be unable to attack. When you become ethereal, enemies around you take damage from the shock. This one might be useful in that sense, as it is an escape capability. But what about this one? A sphere of timelessness. Yeah, it is high time I explore the skill tree, people. Beyond what I did last time. Creates a bubble of personal time. While the world stands still, the bubble starts to shrink as you move around and disappears as a walking. For many attacks or using skill counts as if you have moved 4 meters. A few actions like shuffling the inventory items are without penalty. When the bubble is gone, time returns to normal. You also gain a substantial damage bonus for the duration. Dissipates after moving 8 meters. Okay, but the cooldown is 51 seconds. Synergy bonus of 5% extra bonus damage per level. Okay, let us proceed with the skill tree. Destroy Sikermatons. Your Sikermatons attract the attention of as many enemies as possible for 3 seconds when they explode. The explosions deal. I don't know why it says deals there in as if it was singular. The explosions deal damage within 3.5 meters of each Sikermaton. Okay, so this one is like area of effect damage a bit. By the way, beautiful soundtrack that it has. They put in a lot of effort there. Okay, so we'll go with this one, I guess, to deal a bit of more damage. What's the cooldown of this one? It has no cooldown, so it has to be permanent. Let's charge it up to maximum, definitely. And then the passives to back it up, to boost it, to enhance it, to amplify it. Enemies struck are stunned for 2 seconds. That could be useful. The Sikermatons have a 10% chance to resurrect immediately after the explosion. 20% chance to... Okay, that's quite low. Enemies struck are affected with 5% vulnerability. 10% vulnerability. 15%. There we go. Each kill generates 1 rage. Enemies struck are ignited for 5 seconds, taking 4.5%. They're all passives now. They're all passives. This one is a power up instead. No, this one is an active. This one is an active. Okay, these are all power ups. No, I'll go with passives first. Each kill generates 1, right? No, well, we don't need one of those. Okay, those ones will go for the destroy Sikermatons. Those are position when they explode. And how do I can command them to explode then? Let me test the ability. Nice effects. Okay, and what's the cooldown? 0 cooldown. You can detonate them. And you are affected by the cooldown of the Sikermatons themselves. Okay, so it's important to not lose them like that. Where was the one? This one. 10% chance to resurrect immediately after the explosion. 30% chance. Okay, that one was good. Okay, that one was good. How about this one? Enemies are struck are ignited for 5 seconds. 9% of original explosion damage. 13% extra damage and possibility of resurrecting there. Struck are affected with 5% vulnerability. Good. So we'll do that, and we will also work on this one. 45 seconds. Okay. This one, 3 seconds and a cooldown of... Yeah, but with this one you cannot attack. You're unable to attack. You know, I don't like this ability because requires level 5 ethereal embodiment anyways to unlock it. This one is the one I care about. The Sphere of Timelessness. So, the cooldown is still 43 seconds. The cooldowns are quite long. Let's see. Each meter worth of action restores 1% maximum health. It's 1% of maximum mana. Restoring mana is always important in this game. Critical chances increased by 2, even beyond the maximum limit. Okay, no, nothing crazy there. Each meter's worth. Okay, let's see this one. Just restore the health, and that's pretty much it. I'll keep it at that. Maximum mana and hit points. No, that should be okay. Let's try our new powers. I have them all assigned here. So we have there the Sikermatons. This nothing. This nothing. We'll just go with the new power here on R. Let's see. Okay. That was interesting. We'll see. Oh, and it created copies of Katarina. No, I activated it. Well, let's see, people. Let's see. Let's try our new powers. Let me see those Sikermatons. Alright, that's a lot of damage. Okay. There I detonated another one. Okay, but it didn't kill them completely. Okay. Yep. Pretty much. I need to adapt to the new powers, people. Right, and now I don't have the Sikermatons, okay. Oh, this one is brutal. This one is like 3 attacks.
I can't do that.
Dang! Something is killing me in one blow. What? What's killing me? There. There's something killing me in one blow. This is why you should never play hardcore in all of these games. One shitty death and you lose everything. Like, I don't even understand what killed me.
I can't do that.
Yeah, detonating the Sikermatons is like a desperate move. As far as I can tell. Either that or I have to update my gear probably by now. Well, mana regeneration is working very well. Quite well. Okay, yeah. That one literally freezes time. Now I reactivate and I leave them there until but the cooldown is way too long for the Sikermatons, huh? To resummon them for the explosion. 76 seconds dirt. Oh, we got a trait here. 10% of poison damage for speed and attack speed. 3 ability points, 20% HP to Katarina attacks, no chance. 30% extra critical damage at max range. Okay. Inventory page. No. The perks system is amazing because it depends on the side quests that you do. And as you can see, you can stack on them. Yeah, pretty much. The style of play of the hunter favors like and now I detonate them and they implode. They explode there. Not bad, people, huh? Okay. I love the game so far. Love it. It's amazing. I love the soundtrack, I love everything about this game. The style, the damage numbers, it's like a masterclass of how to create a modern isometric action RPG. This game is amazing. Has everything, a precise point and click system, an amazing engine with the graphics, beautiful style. It's precious. It's like a painting in movement all the time. I love the style of the engine that they used. It's the own proprietary engine of the Hungarian studio. That sounds.
Look, I found a certificate from the Shadow Guild of Botanists claiming that this man is a mushroom expert.
I guess naming the guild uneducated didn't have the desired ring to it, so they went for a bigger word.
Absolutely beautiful. The maps are big,
You know, it's
varied,
nobody told me about the legend of the Deathless area.
a lot of enemy variety.
To tell me Borgovian fairy tales before I tuck you in?
As a hunter, I feel compelled to know about ancient evil powers, even if they've been dead for centuries.
Great, because the Deathless was just a Borgovian fairy tale to scare young vampires into eating their prey.
Yeah, I don't know why the cooldowns are so long in this game. That is something that I find weird. I find extremely weird that the cooldowns are so long in this game for most of the abilities.
I can't do that.
I should deal with that one. There should be a way to reduce the cooldowns. I don't know. Okay, when it dies, it leaves behind a fire circle that deals area of effect damage over time. Okay.
Not possible.
Pretty much. People. So far the game has been quite impressive, eh? By a AA studio. It feels better than a lot of modern AAA games. It feels better than a lot of modern AAA games, people. The skill trees. Perplexing. This one has a mana cost. But with a high energy regeneration, I should be able to not worry about that. Like all of the other parts of the skill tree are basic attacks. Divide and launches. Powerful enemies may resist this. This is 1 meter away. Yeah, perhaps I should have gone for this one. Perhaps I should have gone for this one. Let me try it. Then we can think about refounding points or not. Because, for example, yeah, I know it forces you to use this one as well, the intermediate abilities. No, I think I'll remove this and this because of the cooldowns. The cooldowns are way too long.
Not possible.
Throw a grapple or device to a single target who suffers physical damage. Okay,
I can't do that.
let me see how it works. That device. This one. And move this one over here. I want to see how it works. It should.
Van Helsing, we
Oh, what?
found a new recruit to our cause. Come here, please.
Oh, what's that? That's the first time I see that it also has dialogue lines like that. Yep, not the best in the world. This one. But still.
Not possible.
Yeah. So far the powers are not that good. It's better to go for a constant basic attack and enhance it to the maximum level possible, if you ask me. Because otherwise
I can't do that.
the abilities have extremely long cooldowns. Extremely long. Like here you can see this one is 43 seconds. The Sycamatons 76. And you detonate them and pretty much that's it.
I can't do that.
You end up without Sycamatons. So it's shitty. In that sense, it's terribly bad. With vulnerability, may only be targeted by one Sycamaton at a time. 50% increased vulnerability. It increases the chance of critical hits. Summons one more Sycamaton. This is a power up. Okay, so the power up. No, but this is a power up. In that sense. I will have to start creating combinations then. In that sense. Like, for example, this one. If I do this, it affects that one, but hang on a second. With the multiplier system. So I have to pick what would be the I could assign the power up. No. The power up here, or they are fixed, I think, to make a specific combination. They are fixed, people. Let me try with this one. This one should be S. Okay, so this one is S. If I press S, it should add a multiplier to this ability and this ability to the basic attack of the poison attack with my left mouse click button, and also to the ability there. Okay, so like that, you have to start. You get it right how it is, people. out of the active abilities, you need to start combining them in a way that you increase the power of your abilities, like in a connected way. Okay, so that is the thing. So here, for example, the copies would deal 30% extra damage if I press S, but also affect the power of the poison. The poison lasts 30 seconds longer. And then you can individually try them. And then this, the set combo button allows you to create and store specific power-up combinations, which then you recall by pressing space. Okay, so like that you can combine the A and the S and etc. Okay, and that way that's how you handle it. Okay. Okay. I need to figure out the more complex mechanics of the combat for the game, but we will do so for next time. I've already been overwhelmed enough by the system of the game. Then we'll need to do that. I will probably... Besides, I didn't know the abilities even. That one is somehow useful, stopping time, but the cooldown kills me. Like so far I'm only using A on that one to increase the poison. It's okay, people. Okay, people. It's been a good ride. It's been a good ride for today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to Patrick and District for visiting me today and the great debates. As I've said, today I will finish the stream a bit earlier because I have to go do some things. And yesterday I went to bed quite late, sadly. Obligations, people. Adult life is terrible. It destroys you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Patrick. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, District, for visiting. Thanks to Saint for being the 62nd follower of the stream and the great chat about the creation of the universe, basically. So quite interesting topics. Quite interesting topics. And see you all tomorrow when we'll continue with Star Wars: The Old Republic. To with Star Wars: The Old Republic to finish Knights of the Eternal Throne in that sense. Okay, we'll see if we can finish it. I'm at the we're in the final chapter, people. We're in the final chapter. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and see you all tomorrow when we'll continue with Star Wars: The Old Republic. Special thanks to you, Saint, for being the 62nd follower of the stream and the great debate about the creation of the universe, nonetheless, that we debated. And before I go, thanks to the 91st, 91st YouTube subscriber. From the bottom of my heart, you know that there over at YouTube, you have all of the VODs stored, and I release them as with a bit of a delay, but with all of the content there for you to review. People, it's been a pleasure. See you all tomorrow. We'll continue tomorrow with Star Wars: The Republic. It's been a pleasure. So far, Van Helsing is an incredible isometric action RPG game. Quite amazing. We also need to do the Ultimate 3DS Showcase and several other specials that we need to do once we finish with all of the games. We have Diablo Immortal for next year after I return from my summer holidays in December and January. So we'll have plenty of stuff to do. Plenty of stuff to do. So special thanks from the bottom of my heart to the subscribers of the channel, to Crowbar and Axis, as I always say, to all Discord members, to anyone who might have taken time to watch, to Discord members, to Twitch followers, and to YouTube subscribers. They all have different names, or anyone who might have taken the time to watch this as a YouTube VOD or a Twitch VOD in the future. See you all tomorrow, people. We'll play Star Wars: The Republic and hopefully finish Knights of the Eternal Throne. Hopefully. Then it will be easy from that point onwards. Any Star Wars: The Republic streams. Bye-bye, people. Have a great night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks to Jacob Brellum for following yesterday as well. So this week, 2 new people are to be welcomed to the community. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hope my crazy analyses are enjoyable. Bye bye, people. Love you all deeply from my heart. Bye bye.